on the News Channel 5 network. This is Score on Business.
Hi, welcome to Score on Business. I'm your host, Pete Hendricks, a serial entrepreneur, and looking forward to sharing today. Many prospective entrepreneurs aren't sure where to start, so we'll start providing a tip on each show. Also, SCORE offers low-cost classes and no-charge counseling specifically to guide folks through thinking about starting and succeeding in business. The first step would be either attending our Start Your Business workshop or reaching out to SCORE for an initial appointment. Buying a franchise will also be a good choice for many, though make sure to do your homework. We provide low-cost seminars most Saturdays and some evenings, ones such as Start Your Business, Write Your Business Plan, Develop Your Business Model for Financial Projections, and more. Information on all these events is available at scorenashville.org. Click on the Workshops tab at the top of the page. So, tip for this show, spend some time thinking about your product or service from your customer's perspective. Now, exciting news here on March 5th, there is going to be an exciting event, and we'll have the website up for you in a moment, and I'll share that with you. IdeaCon 2016 is for entrepreneurs and early stage thinkers. Kevin Harrington, original shark on ABC's Shark Tank, will be a speaker. Sponsors include the Entrepreneur Center, Launch Tennessee, and the Angel Capital Group. The website is IdeaCon2016.com. Again, that is IdeaCon2016.com. Okay, our first guest is Brian Church with Ideashares, and Brian is the co-founder and CEO of Ideashares, the virtual idea incubator. They help entrepreneurs and inventors successfully compress time, cost, and risks associated with the early stages of ideation. Now, I just announced IdeaCon 2016, so that's one of you all are doing that. And tell us, before we get to IdeaCon, tell us a little bit about Ideashares.com, which is your website, and why you all created it.
Yeah, well, Pete, thanks for having me on the show, number one.
Yeah, glad to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here. So, you know, Ideashares started 12 years ago, not the company, but the vision.
Right.
I'm an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur. I've done 11 startups. Been blessed to have a few of them work, actually. But I'm also a patent holder. I'm an inventor. I'm also a dad and a pretty good husband, I think, sometimes.
We'll have to ask your wife.
But that's right. Yeah, she's not here. So, but you know, we started this because we've had failures, and our failures usually happened in the early stages of ideation. I've been taken advantage of. I've misspent money. I'll continue to misspend money in different places, right? That's just part of it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
You know, in that early stage, that crystallization place of entrepreneurialism and invention, and for ideators, as we like to call them, there needs to be a path, there needs to be a trajectory. And so over 12 years, we realized that, and we kind of stumbled on to something about 7 years ago that we used to call the ERIM. And this was an algorithmic test that we created to help us vet our own ideas and the ideas of others that we were working with. And it used to be 250 questions, and then you come back with a score and a SWOT analysis, and we would help people and charge them, I don't know, a couple $1,000s to help them to figure out should they move forward or not. And we had a good friend of ours, Ro Frazier, was one of the founders and seed investors in this, also runs a company here called Cicada. He challenged us to codify the process and to put it online. And then what we did is we removed any barrier to entry by offering it up for free.
Right.
And so that's what we've done, and that's why we did it. First off, because we wanted something like this, and where was it 12 years ago when we were doing a lot of our inventing and starting, and we thought it should be there. And so that's what we did. Is over time we've created it. The site went live March 1st. of this year, and we've been promoting the heck out of it from our Ideashares Radio on 99.7 WTN.
I wanted to make sure to cover that. One thing that I wanted to point out about Ideashares is you all have a lot of expertise about crowdfunding, and for many entrepreneurs, they simply won't be able to get angel investing, certainly not in the beginning, and crowdfunding is coming on strong. So tell us briefly about the radio show, when it plays and what gets covered.
Well, really two radio shows. And so John Maddox, who's a mutual friend of ours, is our chief marketing officer. He also has started a company called Serious Startups, and he's actually got a crowdfund pitch show that takes place at 5 o'clock on Saturdays on WTN 99.7, so people should check that out.
That's 99.7.
That's 99.7.
Saturdays at 5.
Saturdays at 5.
Okay.
And then our show, Ideashares Radio, takes place at 4 o'clock on Sundays.
Okay.
And Ideashares Radio is, we are, well, used to be Nashville's, where we like to say now we're the nation's airwave incubator for intellectual property innovators and entrepreneurs.
Right.
And so that's what we're doing. And so we cover up-to-date legislature, ideas. We've got call-ins. We've got guests that come on the show. Pete's going to be on the show here soon, hopefully. And but that's what we do. Is because there's just not a lot of information out there. There's a lot of help once you have something.
Right.
But that space, all right, that very, delicate space between paper napkin to what we call MVP, which is minimally viable product. Whether it's electrical, it's mechanical, it's digital, it's a book, it's a service company, I don't care. You're still trying to get that minimally viable product that can earn money. And that space is so delicate. And that's what we're there to do, is to help walk people through that space.
Okay, and then the second show, Sundays at 4 p.m., 99.7.
That's right.
Let's get on to IdeaCon.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about what you all are doing. Now, what is IdeaCon?
So IdeaCon was a way, so we're always looking to do events and to bring people together. And what we wanted to do, we talk a lot about this thing called the 7 pillars of ideation. And we said, well, how about let's get the best of the best, and as far as speakers are concerned, and let's get everybody that we can that's an ideator, an investor, anybody that's involved in the early stages of ideation. Let's get them in one place at one time, and let's spend a day going through those 7 pillars of ideation. So that's where IdeaCon was born. And then on a whim, actually, I was fortunate enough in the first book that I wrote called Relationship Momentum, Damon John endorsed the book and has a quote on the front of it. Now, he was a little too expensive for us, but which I'm equally as excited about. We've got Kevin Harrington coming as the keynote. So on a whim, I reached out to his agent, and he just was willing enough to lower his fee to the point that, and to come to town, because he wanted to come back to Nashville. He's excited about what's happening here. And so as the original shark on ABC's hit show Shark Tank, Kevin Harrington said yes, and then it was real. Then we said, okay, well, we better build this puppy. And so great folks like Pilgrim Consulting, which is a digital development shop here, Ken Palm and their group, and a lot of others are involved.
I don't want us to run out of time. Tell us about these 7 pillars that folks are going to learn about, and tell us a little bit about each of them.
All right, that's a great question. So at the beginning of the day, we like to call it the catalytic action. So during the imagination and the ideation process, you have to settle upon something that is your idea. You have to flesh it out. And that's where what we call the catalytic action takes place. That's where you stand at the Gulf and you decide to jump off. Okay? The second part of it is the actual evaluation. Do you really have something? I've seen enough divorces, enough emptying of bank accounts, and enough friendships ruined over bad ideas. So you've got to go through evaluation. The next thing is you got to protect it. Whether that's speed to market, or it's trademarks, it's copyrights, it's patents, you should protect the intellectual property. Then you got to develop it. You got to make it. And so that's the next step. And then after developing it, chances are you're probably going to have to find some funding in there. You certainly want to market it. And at the very end, you've got to scale it. So that's the place that you've actually gone from paper napkin to MVP. You've got something now. Now you got to build an enterprise. You actually have to build a business, right?
Okay.
So that's what we're going to be doing through the course of the day with some amazing speakers.
Good. So let's dive into a couple of those pillars, maybe. When somebody is first thinking about something and they're getting it to the point where they would come to IdeaCon or they would check out Ideashares, what are some things you would suggest they do?
Well, I mean, first thing I would suggest is go to Ideashares.com, take our proprietary tests. Tests. We have Ideasphere Regular, which is to test a product, Ideasphere Digital for a web-based product or Internet of Things product, and then Ideasphere Enterprise, which is to test a business model. Start there. Get your score. Get a free SWOT analysis.
Right.
It's completely codified. It'll come right out. And that's the first step. Decide if you want to move forward.
There.
No cost at all. There's no cost ever with Ideashares. Okay. All right. So people are already paying to be a part of our site, so the costs are already covered. No cost to the ideator. So the next thing is, and this is what we want to watch out for. I don't care what kind of idea it is, digital, mechanical, electrical. You never want to protect something you can't make, and you never want to make something that you can't protect. So you start with the protection, and then simultaneously you begin to flesh out how you're going to develop this idea into a product, into a website, IoT idea, whatever it is. But that's really the first 3 steps, and that would be my advice that people, you know, what they want to do. Because again, remember this, don't make something you can't protect. Don't protect something you can't make, or you end up wasting time and money.
With that, Brian, thanks so much for being here. We'll have you back soon to talk about another area of expertise. And ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back. Remember, IdeaCon2016.com. Thank you, sir.